Okay, so this is a basic tutorial of Kinemaster, or Kinemaster as a lot of people pronounce it. So we'll make a new project, but first we'll run through this basic screen on top here. This is my old projects on the on the right hand side here. This is some of the old projects that I've done. And on the left hand side we just have the interface of what the buttons are. I'll just go through the buttons. This first one here is just if you're a premium user, which I am. By the way, this is actually the new version of Kinemaster, so it's 4.16, so if yours seems different to mine, it's just because I've updated to the newest version. If I click on the gears cog here, that's just the basic features that you want for when the actual app starts up. So you can go into these if you want to, but it's really not to mess around with for the beginners at the moment, so we just keep it as is. So we'll just go back out into the next screen. Third here is just if you want to contact email support or whatever and ask them questions or something, you can click on that. This button here is the wizard. We're not going to go into that either. It's pretty basic. You can make a thing with the wizard which takes you through a series of steps, but we're not going to go into that as well. So it's just a wizard which I don't recommend. You can just make your own. And the last one down here, the bell icon, is just what's new in this version. And this is just a TikTok to the left here of the big circle button, and the other that's the YouTube channel if you click on that, which is a small one just to the right. So what we want now is to click on the large button here in the center, and that takes us into the aspect ratio that we want to use for our particular video. So most of the time for me I'll choose 16:9. That's good for YouTube channels. You can have 9:16, which is something like a TikTok, and the 1:1 would be something like Instagram. There are a series of other ones that you can use, but for this one it's going to use 16:9. So I'll click on that. Once we go into this interface here, it's asking for the media that we want to select to put into our video. So first of all, I just want to go to this button up here, which is saying what do we want to look for. We can specifically look for both, which is videos and photos, or we can select the second button down, which is photos, or the last one, which is video. So what I want to select is I'm going to select, I'll select video. So now it's changed around the selections that we've got here based on the criteria that is looking for video alone. So we'll go into camera, and we'll just select the first one here. As you can see down on each of these square boxes here, you can see down the bottom left hand corner there's a video icon. So we'll select this one first, and now that's added the video to the timeline. So down the bottom here you can see the timeline, and we're still in this section here of selecting video because we haven't clicked the button up to the right hand corner, which is a tick box. If we select that, then it's going to add both of them. So we haven't selected 2 yet, but we'll select this one as well. So that's added 2 to it. As you can see up here, we'll go to there's one on that side and one on this side, and the plus in between is where you can click later on to add a transition. So I'll click the tick box up at the far right hand corner, and as you can see now it's added that to our timeline. We're at the start at the moment, and there's 2 separate videos. So there's one on this side of the plus sign and one on the other side of the plus sign. So later we'll add a transition to that, but first we'll go back to the start here. So wherever the timeline red line is there at the start, that's the position that we're going to add things. So if we wanted to come up here, we could add something up there if we wanted to. So we want to put a background in, do that. So we're not going into layers, we're going to select that same layer that we're on now, and we'll go into media. So if we wanted to select a second layer, which would be underneath these two videos here, we would select layer, but we don't want to do that. So we'll go into media again, we'll go into images, and we'll just select the background that they've got, which is white. We'll click the tick box up here in the far right hand corner up the top, and that's added the background to it. So we don't really want that there. I'm just using it as an example. So we'll touch our finger on that white background, and it's got a yellow box around it. So we can do something with it, or I can just delete it. I'm just going to delete it at the moment, and it's back to what we had it. So we'll go up to start again, and we'll click on media again. We're going to put in a white background at the front there, so we can just put a description. If you want something else there, you could put a map in if you wanted to. So I'll go in between here, just select that. Actually, instead of a white background, we'll put a map in, so to show the actual location where we're at. So I'll click on that again, delete it, and we'll go into media, and we'll go to something like screenshots, and I have a map of that location, which is right here, and we'll click on OK. So now we have a map location, so people know where it's at, and then we'll go into the video after that. But first up, we'll just we'll click on this image, and we'll select this second one in the middle here next to the scissors, because this isn't spread right throughout the whole screen, and there's a couple of things that I want to get rid of there. So it's got start position and end position. We want to lock those two, so click that little middle button there. It's going to lock those two aspect ratios now, and I'm going to expand it out to it's a little bit better, like that. So I want it something like that, and we'll just click OK. So now we have that, and we might add some text to that as well. Just it has got Boat Harbour Aquatic Reserve, but we'll put something on top of that. So we'll just say, let's say Sydney. Oops. And there we have the word Sydney. We'll expand it out a bit, and we'll put it up the top there, and we'll change the colour of it. We'll say something like, let's give it a yellow. Sydney. Put that down the bottom there. And we'll click OK, and there we have a word at the start. And we've got the map showing the location. And I'll click the tick box. So what we want to do now is, I don't want the Sydney just to appear. We can make it just appear, but I want it to sort of disappear as well. So you can click on Sydney, and you can say in animation. We'll just have it fade in, and we'll have it fade out as well. So as you can see, I've highlighted the text down the bottom there where the yellow box is surrounding it. I'll put an arrow where what I'm talking about. We'll say out animation, we'll say fade out as well. So there we have it. If I play the timeline, it's fading in, and it's going to probably fade out here and on to the next one. Okay, so we haven't put a transition in yet, so we'll click on this plus sign here, and we'll just go to a basic transition. So we'll go right down the bottom here, we'll say classic transitions, and give it something like a zoom out. We can use this one, gives you a preview of it. No, we don't want that one. That's like a fading effect, but I like the zoom, so we'll click on that one, and we'll just play our head back. Okay, so now that we're into the actual video itself, and this video is probably a little bit lighter. We can lighten it up if we want to, but it looks different on a bigger screen, so I'll leave it like that because I'll check it out just before we're going to export and see if if it's what I want.
So it's completely...
Okay, so we'll go down to the second section here. We've got another one video leading into the next, but that's boom, boom. So we don't want that, we want something else. We'll put something a bit fancy here. So I just click on the plus sign and we'll go into one of our transitions here. As you can see with the red symbol near it, that means it's I'm a premium member, so I can download those. I've downloaded these ones here, but there's one which is not premium. So we'll click on that one and we'll just see the basic effect that it has. It's like a folding. I can select on this one, folding out. We'll click that one. So let's see how that looks. If I click on play, and there we go, it's just a folding out effect, and it's quite good, so we'll leave that one. Okay, so basically now we've got the introduction into what we're going to put at the front there, so we know where we're at and what people are looking for. Usually in the first 15 seconds of a YouTube video you need to put as much information as you possibly can, so probably here I would add a layer of voice, and I'd expand this out. If I can click on that, I can expand this one out, so it goes for a longer time interval. So now I've got it leading from 1 second right to 10 seconds there. So if that's not enough for me, I can always expand that after I do a recording. So if I was going to do a recording, I would click this button here, but we're not going to do that yet, but we can just record a section. I'll actually show you what happens once I do a recording. So if I click that button, while using this app, now if I click start, it's going to start from there, and the time head is going to move, and I can talk my way through it as it's going along. So we won't do that yet, so we'll click the X up the top right hand corner here. We'll just go out of it for a minute, and this text here, it's not as long now as the image itself. I expanded the image out so it lasts for a longer period of time. It's 10 seconds I believe I said. So what we can do is we click on this one here and we'll expand the text out to the same length, and that'll fade out at the end there. I'll make it a little bit longer. There we go. So if I click OK, so it's going to come in there. It'll probably just disappear before the end of it, and it goes into our transition and back into the video. So it's quite easy to use this program. I'll just show you some of the things up the side here. If I'm down here somewhere and I want to go back to the start, I can just click on that and say move to the beginning, and it goes back to the beginning again. This second button here, if I click on that, that's expanded, so now the play area is down on the bottom right hand corner, and there's a bigger timeline here, so if you've got many layers you can see the layers that you want to position and put into place. So we won't do that, so we click that back again. This is just the settings for your audio, video and editing. That's probably more advanced features. If you want fade in, fade out, you can do that as well. Some editing here of some of the default duration of the photo clips. We're not going to go into that. It's just a basic introduction into it. So we'll keep on going here, and we'll move into something else, and we'll probably go into something like we'll do a stickers layer and an FX layer, just to know the basics of that, what it is, so you might be able to add something later to your video to make it a little bit more engaging. So we'll go into the sticker layer here, and we'll come down here somewhere. This is not really a good example of doing some stickers, but we'll put something in there anyway. What have we got here? Fireworks, happy birthday. Maybe a happy birthday, we'll put one of them in. Okay, so if you click on that and we put in happy birthday there, that appears on the screen, and as you can see down the bottom here where this red thing is, I'll put an arrow there, that's the layer that's come up. So we've got our video layer on top, and the next layer is the happy birthday, which is over the top. So we'll just click our arrow key up the top right hand corner here, and then we've got that highlighted, which is in yellow. So we'll just click OK, and we'll see what happens once we click the play button.
31st of,
so it's going to pop up, and it's happy birthday. So we can position that anywhere in the layer itself. So what we'll do is we'll stop that for a minute. We'll go back to that layer there, and we'll resize it and put it over in the corner here if we want to. We can go into the animations actually of this layer as well. So if we click this first button up the top here, we'll put in fade, and we'll also click back on that layer there, and this is the, it actually says up the top here, it says overall animation. So if we want something to happen for the overall animation pulse, it's already pulsing anyway, so we don't need anything there. And we'll go back into it again, and this one here, it says out animation at the top. So out animation, we'll just fade that out as well. For how long it goes to, that depends on the duration. So for the duration here, it's set for only like what, about 4 seconds. So we can expand that out if we want to any duration that we want to throughout that movie. And as long as we click this button up the top here, which is the arrow key, okay, it's going to come in here, and it's going to last that long in the animation, and out there it's going to fade out as well. So that's how that works. There's various different stickers, there's hundreds of stickers you can get, which you can put on top of that layer, of the video layer, which makes it look quite presentable. So that's that layer there. We'll move on to something else. What else have we got here? We'll go back to the effects layer. We've got various layers that we can use here, but just to put in a focus blur. Okay, so we go into that, and blur circle, put that in there, and we'll click OK because it's in there. Now we just got to alter it a bit to where we want to have it. So let's expand that out a huge way like that. Okay, we'll click settings, and we'll actually put the radius right in to something like that, and we'll click OK. Click on that again, and we'll say we want it to fade in, so fade in, and we want it to actually fade out. So by clicking those buttons, we've made it fade in and out, so it'll focus in there and it'll fade out there. Actually, it's moving too much, so we want it to stay in one position, so we'll shorten that timeline up a bit to here. And let's have a look at the effects that that'll have. Okay, we'll play it.
On Sundays is $50. Rest
So
of
you
the
comes
week
a
is
motion
$30,
blur,
but you're better off just buying a season pass, which used to be $160,
and
but
fade
now
out
it's
again.
$175.
So that's what you can do there. But as I said, there's many different things you can do with that. That's just one filter effect. It's focus, and if I hit get more, it'll go, and you can find many different overlays as you can possibly think of. Lens effects, mask effects, glitch effects, might be a blurriness or something. So it's really up to your imagination what you want to use there. So we'll come back out. Where are we up to now? That's pretty basically the basics of it. We'll put an ending in here somewhere, so you know what to do for that. So some sort of ending you want, I don't know, maybe a YouTube emblem or something. Or actually what we'll put in here is we'll go to a layer, and we'll scroll down, and we'll find something. What do we got here? Oh, Jarvis, no. come in here, and this version actually can you can actually put in GIF images. So if I went to images only, we'll find that there's a GIF image here, so I can put that in, and it's just a subscribe button, but it's actually a GIF image, so it's like an animated GIF. So I'll fade that in, so in animation we'll say fade in, and click on that again, and we'll say out animation, we'll say fade out, and we'll get it to come in, probably there is okay. And let's say we want to add some audio to that. So I'm going to put the timeline, I'm going to set the timeline, I'm going to travel along until I see that little hand go into the button and it turns red like that. And we'll say, we'll click audio and effects, and we're looking for bell, I think bells, and we've got bell 1, bell 2, bell 3, but bell will just actually click that one. And to add that bell in, we actually have to click this plus sign here, so you won't see anything added at the moment, but if I click that plus sign, then you'll see the little audio file come up down the bottom here. So that's been added now. So once I click the tick up the top right hand corner here, then it's been added. So once we come to there, that bell will ring, and we're coming to the end there. Now I can say something else as we're coming probably down to about here somewhere. I'm going to put in some text, and I'll just say thanks. Whoop. Thanks for watching. And say OK, and we'll put that on the screen somewhere. We can actually put it up here. We can make it into a second line if we want to by tapping on this keyboard symbol up the top here. We can say thanks for watching, put the watching on the second line like that if we want to, and say OK, and it'll come up there. We can change the colours if we want to. We can change to, I don't know, any colour we want. Say purple. That'll do. No, that looks terrible. We'll go back to the yellow colour. Yeah, that'll do. And we'll say OK. And there's our timeline there. I'll just click on this button over here so you can see how that works. So it's just a button right here. So now if we've got multiple levels, if we've got multiple layers, let's say we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 layers there. If we've got say 10 layers or something, we're going to need to click this button here so we can actually see it. At the moment we've only got 4 layers or something, but if I put my finger down here and to scroll up, it can actually increase the magnification of that, but we'll leave it at something like that. But this button does come in handy when we click that, and we can see how many layers we're actually down and move those layers around. Another thing too, if you actually, this text layer here, if I put my finger on it, it highlights, but to move that text layer around, you've got to tap your finger somewhere else, put your finger on it quickly, and you'll feel a vibration, and then you can move it around. Okay, so that's how you move those layers around. You've got to actually put your finger on it quick, and you'll feel a vibration, and you'll move it around. But if I tap it fast with my finger, then it'll highlight, and then you can expand it out. Okay, so get back out of that, and we're coming to the end now. So what we'll do is we'll actually show you how to export it. We'll tick that box there, and that's our video. So we'll have a quick view of that. So the text will pop in. Actually, that's pops in too fast there, so I like to just put a in animation of fade in, and probably I'll expand it back down to here, right to the end, like that. Actually, we'll grab that video a bit and expand that out. Okay, so click yes, and we'll just watch a video at the end there.
For kids around here
Fades
as well,
in,
Bayes Youth
and
normally
we've got our
just set for kids.
subscription button with a bell right at the end there. Okay, so that's it. So if you want to add more video, you just add as you want. You can put different layers in, whatever. You can go into the exposure of this if you want to. This is our main video. You can go into speed, which is a little bit more advanced. Clip graphics, you can use them. Reverse, we can reverse or rotate. You can rotate a clip if we want to. If it's the wrong way or it's not right aspect ratio, we can rotate it. Color filters, we can go into that and put the color filters on if we want to. I don't really use them much unless it's really bad footage. Adjustments, yeah, this is where we go into the actual video itself, and if it's too light or dark, you can actually do a little bit of tweaking around. So if I wanted to, I could alter the brightness, the contrast or saturation, but you just got to be careful of how much you use, because it will, if it's not natural, then you can go a fair way, but not too much. So click into that, go back into that actually. Color adjustment, equalizer, volume, reverb, voice changer. Extract audio is pretty useful. Sometimes you're recording something with one phone or camera, and you might want to use the audio of that, so you can say extract audio out of it and just get rid of the video and use the audio, and then import your other video into it, and you can use that audio. So that's quite useful, extract audio down the bottom. Okay, so we're coming to the end now. What we want to do is learn how to export it. So if we view the whole video over and we're happy with it, then we'll just say export it. So we click this button right up the top right hand corner here, we click on that one, and this will come up. Now a lot of people like to use the 1080p. I don't. I actually go back to the HD 720, and that's because people in different countries who want to view it, if they're in remote places where they haven't got good strong access to internet connection, then it's pretty hard for them to watch something which is in 1080p. So I try to get a larger audience by going down to the HD 720p. They're better able to receive it and view it more easily. A lot of people don't think about that, and they just put on 1080p because they want the good quality, but it's pretty hard to see the difference between 720p and 1080p just on looking on a phone. Maybe for a large TV you might see a big difference, but it depends what audience you want and how far the audience you want to reach. So just think of other people in third world countries where they haven't got a strong internet connection, so I'd probably prefer to go to the 720p. So all we have to do here is say export, and it starts to generate the file, and it'll put that into the Kinemaster export folder. So you just have to look in that folder to try and find that. Also, before we go to that stage, you know that stage now, so you know about exporting, so we'll just go back for a minute. If we go back out of this project and we see the project there I've named example, so if I click on that, if we want to change the name of it, we go back into this section here and we click on the name. We can change the name of that. So that's quite important, of how to change the name of your files that you're working on from here. So I just say cancel, and I go back into it, and we can say export again, and once we select the frame rate, which is here, I usually select the 30 frames per second rate. You can use the 24 cinema, 30 is probably a little bit better quality, and it depends on what country you're in as well, because in Australia here we use PAL, so 25 frames per second, but I'll be selecting 30 frames per second. It's a little bit better, smoother. And once we say down the bottom here, right next to the export button, we have what it's going to generate in size. So it's going to be about 75 megabytes. If we went to the 1080p, it would be 170 megabytes, and so on. If we went to 4K, which not many TVs these days do play 4K. There is a fair few now in different countries, but yeah, I'm going to go for the 720p, and we click export, and it starts to export. We've only got a small file here, so it's going to export quite fast. We don't need to watch that, so I just cancel out of that, and that's our basic tutorial. So if you have any comments, just leave them below, and yeah, share your experiences, or if you want me to do something on the next video, just let me know. Thank you.